Welcome back to Heartland Journals 3 and 3. This week, we're watching Washington try to negotiate from a position of trust that may not exist, with Marco Rubio praising Pakistan's diplomatic efforts, Iran pushing back on U.S. pressure, and Tehran warning that no final understanding has been reached, while tensions over frozen funds and a possible naval blockade keep rising. It's diplomacy, distrust, and Middle East pressure politics, all packed into one Fast Friday rundown. And before we jump in, let me bring in my co host, Stevie. I'm excited to hear them all. Let's do it. Thank you, Steve. Hello, welcome back to another Friday and another edition of our Heartland Journals 3 and 3, where I run down the three stories of the week the mainstream media either forgot to tell you or ignored in about 3 minutes, or as fast as I can. Let's go. Number one, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio praised Pakistan's sincere diplomatic and mediation efforts for peace and stability in the region and beyond during a meeting with Pakistan's foreign minister in Washington, Pakistan's foreign ministry said. The secretary thanked the minister for the constructive role Pakistan continues to play in realizing President Trump's vision for peace in the Middle East and its mediation efforts with Iran, the U.S. State Department said. The Secretary and Deputy Prime Minister agreed upon the importance of working together to further strengthen a meaningful partnership that fosters security and prosperity for both Americans and Pakistanis. Iran Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmail Baghai told State TV, Iran said goodbye to the language of must 47 years ago, and that Western governments cannot dictate terms to the Islamic Republic. We make our own decisions based on the interests and rights of the Iranian people, he said. He also said what Washington has described as a naval blockade was illegal from the beginning, calling it both a violation of the ceasefire and a disruption of international freedom of navigation. Baghai said Tehran would wait to see whether the United States follows through in practice on its stated position or whether it is merely a propaganda claim. If they do it, it means stopping an unlawful act they started a few weeks ago and should never have committed in the first place, he said. On a possible understanding with Washington, Baghai said messages were still being exchanged, but no final agreement had been reached. No final understanding has been reached between Iran and the United States, IRGC-affiliated Tasnim News reported, rejecting Trump's remarks on lifting the naval blockade as unilateral and insisting Iran's frozen assets must be addressed before any preliminary deal. The outlet also dismissed claims by Trump and U.S. media about the nuclear file as baseless, saying the current discussions do not involve details of the nuclear issue. Tasnim said Trump's insistence that Iran's frozen funds will not be released only deepens Tehran's doubts about Washington's seriousness. The Islamic Republic has repeatedly said the status of its frozen assets must be determined before any initial understanding is reached, the report added. Claims by U.S. President Donald Trump about a possible agreement with Iran are a mix of truth and lies and do not reflect the draft terms being reviewed in Tehran, IRGC-affiliated Fars News reported, citing informed sources. Hard to negotiate from a position of trust talking like that, guys. Number two story the big guys won't tell you anywhere else. UAE conducted dozens of strikes on Iran during war and after truce, including with Israel, report. The United Arab Emirates launched dozens of airstrikes in Iran in the first days of the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran and after the ceasefire in April was announced. Reports have said the UAE carried out attacks on Iran during the war, but the report by the WSJ indicated a much larger role than previously reported. Israel and the U.S. provided intelligence on the strikes, which targeted Kush and Abu Musa Islands in the Strait of Hormuz, the port city of Bandar Abbas, Lavon Island's oil refinery, and the Asaluya petrochemical complex. Last story, number three. Hamas accuses Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of a blatant violation of the October 2025 ceasefire after he ordered the army to seize more territory in the Gaza Strip. In a blatant violation of all agreements, as is their usual practice, Netanyahu announced expanding control over 70% of the Gaza Strip, while the killing and starvation continue. Hamas spokesman Bassem Naim tells AFP. The October deal was envisioned as part of a larger process that would see the terror group disarmed and the enclave demilitarized, but progress toward that vision has stalled, as Hamas has refused to lay down its weapons and Israel has continued striking deep inside Gaza, while facing allegations that it is violating additional terms of the October agreement. Meanwhile, here at home, the head of the UJA Federation of New York, a leading Jewish organization in New York City, shares an open letter to Mayor Zohran Mamdani, criticizing his decision to boycott the annual Israel parade. The march, called Israel Day on 5th, serves as the de facto Jewish community parade in the city. Mamdani, who is identified as an anti-Zionist, is the first mayor to boycott the event. You are the first mayor in the history of New York City, home to the largest Jewish diaspora community in the world, to refuse to participate in this parade because you fundamentally reject Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state, the Federation's CEO Eric Goldstein says in an open letter to Mamdani. Our community in all its diversity will show up in multitudes, not because we believe Israel's government is beyond criticism, and not because we all agree on the right way forward. We do not. We will show up because we believe in the vital importance of a Jewish and democratic homeland for our people, Goldstein says. Your absence and what it represents will be long remembered. It's gearing up to be one crazy summer, huh? That's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe at heartlandjournal.com and our Substack and never miss an episode. You'll be glad that you did. Mainstream won't tell you the good news, but I will, and it's free. Thanks for doing it. See you next week for another Heartland Journals 3 and a little more than 3. Glory to God. If you like what you see, check out our hats and shirts at heartlandjournal.com. Get yours now. 3 and 3 is Heartland Journal LLC property. Thanks for listening and see you in the next episode.